Welcome to the reading of the Times Reporter newspaper for Tuesday, September the 8th. We begin today's reading with the area deaths. Desi Darlene Austin, 66, of Bowerston, formerly of Roswell, passed away on Sunday, September 6th, at Trinity Hospital in Twin City. In the interest of public health, a private family service will be held. Shirley A. Gallion, 86, of Dover, passed away peacefully in her home on Sunday, September 6th. Cremation has been entrusted to the Toll and Herzig Funeral Home and Crematory at Dover. There will be no services or calling hours. Claudette Kale, 74, of New Philadelphia, passed away peacefully on September 4th in Schönbrunn Healthcare Center following a period of declining health. Loella Irene Hicks Fouts, 97, of Janadenhutton, died Friday afternoon on September 4th in the Community Hospice Truman House in New Philadelphia. The services for Loella will be private. Diana Faye Dodds, 75, of Strasburg, went to be with the Lord on Saturday following a courageous battle with cancer. A funeral service will be held on Wednesday, September 9th, starting at 11 a.m. in the Toll and Herzig Funeral Home and Crematory, Strasburg. Family and friends are invited to call at the funeral home on Tuesday from 5 to 7 p.m. and on Wednesday, 1 hour prior to the service. Jean E. Fondriest, 99, of Dover, passed away peacefully in the Park Village Healthcare Center in Dover on Friday, September 4th. A Mass of Christian burial will take place on Wednesday, September 9th at 10 a.m. in the St. Joseph Catholic Church in Dover. For those of you unable to attend, the service will be webcast on the St. Joseph Catholic Church website by visiting www.stjosephdover.org. There will be a private family viewing. Betty Ann Ray Huff passed away peacefully at Community Hospice Truman House on August 31st after a 6-month battle with pancreatic cancer. A graveside service and a celebration of life will be held at a later date. Myron A. Mast, 84, of Millersburg, passed away on Saturday, September 5th at his home, surrounded by his family following a period of declining health. Funeral services will be held on Tuesday, September 8th at 8:45 a.m. at the family residence. Friends may call anytime after 2 p.m. on Sunday at the family residence. Carol May Wardell Shoemate, 82, of Dover, passed away on September 5th peacefully in her home. A private memorial service will be held. Well, that concludes the area deaths in the Tuesday Times Reporter. Let's begin with our first article. Yerkesville officials vow to fight a blight, by Nancy Molinar. A woman told City Council recently of her concern about a suspicious house near her own. Grown men on bicycles with backpacks were entering the vacant home at night. Speaking to members of the city administration and council at their August 13th meeting, she implied that those 20-year-old men might be engaging in criminal activity. Police Sergeant Brandon McCrae addressed the same concern. The best way to keep spooky people with backpacks from coming in and out of abandoned houses is to make that abandoned house disappear off the face of the planet, he said. He told city officials the location of 3 problem properties. Councilman Eric Harmon has submitted a list of 50 sites to the administration. Not all need to be demolished, he said. Most of them were habitable. Some could be cited for high grass, broken windows, Harmon said. We just want to see the houses that are abandoned torn down, said Councilwoman Amy Myers, or at least the process started with those. Nothing's been started. Some buildings have already collapsed, said Councilman Jim Zuccal. He said the city has appropriated $50,000 for demolitions in 2020. He expects it to be spent by the end of the year. We've tried to figure out which ones that we want to tear down, Mayor Mark Haney told Council August 13th. The mayor said the first demolition candidate should be a building near West First and Packer Streets at the railroad tracks. That building needs to come down because we know we have a drug issue down there, Haney said. The problem is finding out who will claim it. CSX owns the property, but the R.J. Corman Railroad leases it, according to Service Director Belle Everett. She said drug activity has occurred at the site. In addition to citing problem properties, the city has turned to a volunteer program to help residents who are unable to maintain their homes. The Good Neighbor Project has agreed to help clear brush and trim bushes at the home of an elderly woman on Eastport Avenue who cannot do the work herself, Haney said. Hopefully, we will see some results in the next week or two on that, Haney said. The mayor said the city has been divided into 8 sections, with a police officer assigned to report properties needing improvement in each area. That way, hopefully nothing falls through the cracks, Haney said. We're doing a lot of property improvement notices. Haney said some cleanup notices have been dismissed in court. Law Director J.J. Ong said he can investigate the reason for the dismissals. One residential property had an engine block sitting in the yard. Some owners have been cited and cleaned up on a site, only they have it deteriorated and get cited again, Haney said. Everett said some of the buildings council members have complained about are occupied. We cannot demo houses that have folks living in them, Everett said at the August 13th council meeting. Law Director J.J. Ong disagreed. He said the city may have to work with the Tuscarawas County Health Department to condemn houses that are not fit to live in. There may be houses that need to be torn down even though they are occupied, Ong said. If it's not fixed up and it's not habitable, the rest of the neighborhood shouldn't have to put up with it. City officials also discussed using a land reutilization program to get properties back into productive use after they've fallen behind in real estate taxes. The city and private individuals are able to buy abandoned parcels at the sheriff's sale with a $2,500 deposit to cover costs associated with the process, Ong said. Another tool in Council's July adoption of the International Property Maintenance Code. It sets minimum maintenance requirements to ensure buildings are safe, sanitary, and fit for occupation. Violations are minor misdemeanors, punishable by a $250 fine and 30 days in jail. Also in July, Council passed legislation raising the annual registration fee for rental units to $25 for this year and $50 for 2021. Yorksville has more than 600 rental properties, according to Haney. U.S. Census figures indicate that 40% of the city's housing units were not owner-occupied between 2014 and 2018. Haney also turned to the city's next-door neighbor for advice about fighting blight. He met August 12th with Denison Mayor Greg Donato and Dan Shaver, zoning code official, to learn how they tear down houses and enforce property maintenance codes. He said he'd like to see the city hire a building code enforcement officer like Denison's Shaver. Denison's experience suggests that success takes time and diligence, but can lead to green shoots of new development. Since 2010, it has seen the demolition of 50 structures. In several cases, owners tore down dilapidated buildings after receiving notices from the village. During the same time, 12 new homes have been built. The village has used the land reutilization program to return 13 formerly tax delinquent lots to productive use since 2018. The extra space can be a valuable addition in a community where some homes sit on 25-foot wide lots. By having these buildable lots, now we've got people buying them and building these homes, DiDonato said. Shaver said the best approach is to focus attention on rundown properties in one area at a time. That makes the whole neighborhood better, and then they'll build a house, he said. One bad property in a block is a cancer, DiDonato said. It destroys everybody else's property. Rotten houses can shelter squatters, animals, illegal drug activities, DiDonato said. The village's 3-man street department gets stuck mowing grass at abandoned properties on top of its regular duties of maintaining parks and streets. The key to Denison's approach is enforcement of standards in the International Property Maintenance Code, which has been in place at least 20 years. A property with external signs of disrepair gets a registered letter from Shaver, who works 24 hours a week on property maintenance and land use issues in Denison. 4 or 5 registered letters can be required before the process ends. Sometimes it takes us 2 years to get the house down, Shaver said. But you can't sit back and say, well, I sent a letter and that's all I'm going to do. You've got to bird dog it. You can't let up. His job includes trying to find owners for abandoned properties. Sometimes no one can be held responsible because the owner has died without heirs. The work costs money. Denison spends about $80,000 a year for property issue enforcement, including costs related to citations, demolition, land acquisition and administration, home demolitions, costs an advantage of $10,000. Costs at an average of $10,000. DiDonato said some communities get hung up on trying to recoup their expenses, like the $2,500 deposit for land reutilization. Sometimes Denison gets some money back, sometimes it doesn't. A neighbor might only be willing to pay $1,000 for a vacant lot that cost $2,500 to buy and $10,000 to clear. You don't make money from police service. You don't make money from the street. You don't make money from fire. It's just the cost of doing business, DiDonato said. Keeping properties in good condition preserves home values for residents, DiDonato said. Most cases, for most people, the biggest asset anybody has is their property, he said. Shaver says he has been asked to advise other towns, including Newcomerstown and a village near Cleveland, about how to address dilapidated properties. We're glad to help people, he said. It's a whole community, whether it's Tuscarawas County or what county it is. You can only go so long with blight. DiDonato believes Denison's assistance to Urickville will help both towns. We're stronger together, the mayor said. An outsider drives into Twin Cities. They just think it's one town. We either thrive together or we die together. Up next, thefts of ATVs, lawn equipment rise in Stark and Carroll counties, by Lori Steineck. Law enforcement authorities advise owners to lock up your lawn equipment and ATVs. Chain up your utility trailers, or at least hide them a little better, because summertime thieves are working overtime. Investigators in area police and sheriff's departments say reports of theft of lawn equipment, trailers, dirt bikes, and ATVs typically pick up this time of year annually, but they're seeing an even greater increase than normal. We've had a larger than regular caseload of those types of thefts right now, said Stark County Sheriff's Deputy Sergeant Craig Kennedy. The biggest influx that we've seen is probably within the last month. Most of reports have come from victims in the Canton South area, Nimishillen and Plain Townships, said Kennedy, who could offer no real reason for the rise. Carroll County Sheriff Dale Williams has a theory. My personal opinion is I think so many people are out of work that maybe they're stealing stuff to sell to get money. Stark and Carroll County Sheriff's deputies are working with the local police and with Harrison and Tuscarawas County departments, as well as local police departments, to solve the cases, Williams and Kennedy said. Marlboro Township Police posted on its Facebook page, too, that several trailers and lawnmowers stolen from residents' yards and garages over the past few weeks. As we continue to follow up leads and investigate these crimes, please make sure to take steps to secure your trailers and garage doors. Also, if you see anything suspicious or out of the ordinary, please contact the police department at 330-935-2338. Yards are targeted. Williams deputies discovered that in one instance, a thieves traveled clear over to Dalton, stole a trailer, came back to Carrollton, and loaded up new lawnmowers. They were going back through Malvern when the deputies saw them. A chase ensued, moving at speeds around 80 miles per hour before his deputies were able to stop and arrest the duo and recover the mowers. But the thefts didn't stop. Williams said Tuesday that last night somebody called in and found a jet ski sitting in the middle of the road. So we checked on that one, and it was stolen. Deputies believe trailers thieves have sped away fast enough that the jet ski flew off the back of it. Utility trailers are evidently popular. They could be seen in most neighborhoods, sitting in the middle of the lawn or by a garage, some topped with lawn equipment, others empty. I've seen some yards with 4 or 5 trailers in them parked out by the road, and they don't have locks or boots or anything, said Lake Township resident Brian Andrus. Andrus had just moved into his home on Nimishillen Street Northeast months ago with his packed belongings in a utility trailer his dad had loaned him. The trailer measured 5 by 8, and like most of his neighbors, it wasn't locked, so he had been parking his truck over the front end of the trailer, making it difficult for any would-be thieves to maneuver it free. But he had already left the house when sometime between 7:15 and 7:45 a.m. Monday, thieves cut the zip ties off his license plates and hauled it away. A neighbor later told him she'd seen a man in another neighbor's driveway wrangling a trailer there. She described the man as older and wearing a hat. He drove a white, older model Ford F-150, said Andrus, saying another neighbor saw it was a silver Dodge Ram. Evidently, the job was too difficult. The victim later posted on a neighborhood website that the thief or thieves dragged her trailer through the yard, damaging it and giving up. The front end was bent. The neighbors believed Andrus' trailer became the next option. His license plate? Probably thrown in a ditch somewhere, he said. Hard to solve. Unfortunately, law enforcement officials say trailers are difficult to recover. The recovery rate on them isn't real high just due to the fact that they don't get spread around so much, Kennedy said. He recommended that anyone who sees a vehicle in the neighborhood that doesn't seem to fit in or cruising the area at weird hours of the day or night should call and report it to law enforcement as suspicious. Kennedy said he would also remind owners to try to make it difficult to steal. Get a trailer lock or keep them chained up as a deterrent. Try not to advertise it by parking it in the front yard. Up next, man hurt when truck rolls in towing attempt in Yerkesville. A man was taken to a Dover hospital after he was hurt in a towing accident at 9th and Water Streets on Saturday evening. Witnesses said the injured man and his friend were trying to tow a vehicle with a truck. When the victim attempted to connect tow hooks to the car, the truck rolled back and pinned him against the car. The truck was unoccupied. The victim suffered a bruise to his back from the truck's tow hitch. Police said he was in good spirits, but was in a lot of pain. He said the accident was no one's fault. The Yerkesville Fire Department took him to Cleveland Clinic Union Hospital. The accident was reported at 6:39 p.m. Well, this next article, Dover Library looking for a trustee. The Dover Public Library is looking for a new member for its Board of Trustees. Applicants must be a resident of Tuscarawas County. The board meets at 7 a.m. the second Thursday of each month. Anyone interested in applying can pick up an application at the library or at www.doverlibrary.org. Application deadline is October 1st. For information, you can call Jim Gill at 330-343-6123. Well, let's move on. Ohio Star Theater reopens with a new musical. In Sugar Creek, the Ohio Star Theater will reopen at 7 p.m. Thursday with a performance of the new musical, The Good Good Life, with the Yoders. In keeping with the state mandate regarding face coverings, Dutchman Hospitality Properties require guests to wear masks unless prohibited due to a medical or other condition. Guests are asked to help in the reopening transition by doing their part in embracing heightened safety and sanitation guidelines and by wearing masks. We want our guests and our staff to feel safe as we all venture into this new experience, Mike Palmer, president of Dutchman Hospitality, said in a statement. For an up-to-date schedule and to purchase tickets for the musicals or concerts, go to www.ohiostartheater.com, or you can call the box office at 855-344-7547 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Well, moving on. Thief steals woman's drink at Hardee's. In New Philadelphia, a man reached into a woman's car and stole her drink at Hardee's at 2333 East High Avenue on Thursday afternoon. Police said the same man took a bicycle he was supposed to be buying from a man in the 200 block of Commercial Avenue Southwest on the same day. The bike theft was reported at 12:43 p.m. Thursday by a man who agreed to sell it for $100. After the seller helped the buyer load it into a Jeep, the suspect drove away without paying. The seller took a photo of the departing vehicle. The drink theft was reported at 1:12 p.m. That's about a half an hour later. At 1:32 p.m., the suspect was found at Walmart in a silver Jeep reported to have been stolen in Coshocton County. Police said he admitted to stealing the bike, which was returned to its owner. The suspect's case is expected to go before the Coshocton County Grand Jury. No charges were filed here. Our next article, Wilbur McCartney gets 6 months sentence for beating girlfriend's baby, by Nancy Molnar. In New Philadelphia, a 31-year-old man who caused serious physical harm to his girlfriend's baby is to serve the balance of a 6-month jail sentence on a felonious assault conviction. Tuscarawas County Common Pleas Judge Edward O'Farrell sentenced Wilbur J. McCarty on Friday under terms of a negotiated plea agreement between the prosecution and defense. The agreement provides for the jail time and a 3-year prison sentence, which is not to be served if McCarty complies with terms of 2 years probation. They include having no contact with the victim or his immediate family, remaining law-abiding, having no alcohol, and staying out of bars and taverns. The judge found McCarty guilty after the defendant pleaded no contest to the felonious assault charges. A charge of child endangering was dismissed as part of the plea deal. Both charges were allied for sentencing purposes, according to Assistant County Prosecutor Michael Ernest. For that reason, McCarty could have been sentenced on only one of the charges, which carries a range of possible sentences of 2 to 8 years. The victim was at least 12 months old at the time of the incidents, which was reported to Dover Police November 30th. His mother discovered the injury after returning home from work. The child was taken first to Cleveland Clinic Union Hospital and transferred to Akron Children's Hospital. McCarty will get credit against his 6-month sentence for time already spent in Tuscarawas County and Allen County, Indiana jails. McCarty made no comment in court on Friday. No one from the victim's family was present in court. The child's parents were informed of McCarty's sentence, Ernest said. Canton attorney Richard Drake represented McCarty. And next, Camp Tuscazor to hold hiking tour to celebrate 100 years. Camp Tuscazor, 6066 Boy Scout Road Northeast in Dover, will hold guided hiking tours to explore the camp's historic sites September 12th and 13th in celebration of its 100-year anniversary and Ohio Open Doors. The tours will be held in conjunction with the annual pig roast, which will be held from 3 to 7 p.m. September 12th and from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. September 13th. For more information, tuscazor.org. Well, this concludes the reading of the Times Reporter for Tuesday, September the 8th. Please stay safe, be blessed, and do what you can to make it a great day.